Hi guys, I thought I would do something a bit different today. This is something I've been asked a few times before, the differences between Germany and the United States. Because I've answered this question a few times before by now, I kind of have this set list of things I always mention. Sorry, I'm still a bit sick. Since many people ask about it and since this seems to be interesting, I always find it interesting to hear about, cultural differences and that myself. I thought I would make a list for you guys of things that I perceive to be, that kind of strike me as big differences. One thing I always like to start off with is, just the difference in size of everything. It starts with things like roads and cars. The cars you will see around here, they're perfectly normal here, practical little cars. You won't really see in America at all, or rarely. You all have this, these huge cars. Even the smallest cars are pretty big compared to German cars. Of course there's people driving Hummers here as well, but they're very rare. We have less space available because there's more people on less space. Not more people, of course, but, a lot of people on a lot less space than in America. So I guess it makes sense. Also, what's a lot bigger is your meal portions. I cannot get over that. It's like, you go to a restaurant and what you get could feed 2 families. It's a lot. And I guess, this leads to the next point, which is there's a lot more big and bigger people. We all know about that specific thing, so I'm just gonna leave that aside. Then I was speaking about cars earlier and roads. Of course, one big difference that probably by now a big part of the world knows about, we are the only country in the world that does not have a speed limit on our highways. So, we do have places in which there is a speed limit, and we also have recommended speed. So, you shouldn't go over, I think it's 130 kilometers per hour. But, if there's no sign, you're allowed to go as fast as you want and can if you want to do that, You never really notice that when you live here because it's just, it's there. But yeah, that's another big difference. Another thing, actually something that's always bothered me about buying, well, basically anything in America, is that you always have to remember that when you finally get to the register, you're gonna have to add tax to whatever you're buying. And I'm not used to that because we don't do that. The price you see on the label in the market before you go to the register is the price you pay, which I think makes a lot more sense. I'm gonna admit I really don't know anything about selling and buying things, but I really don't know why you do that in America. And I know it annoys a lot of normal Americans as well, because you see something for $3 and then it's gonna end up being like $3.08 or something, just why? Another very big thing I feel is politics. First of all, yeah, democracy, that's all nice, but you really only have 2 parties. I know you don't, but that's the first thing. We have a few more parties that actually have a chance of getting into our Bundestag, which is our damn it, what's the word? Parliament. We also have 2 bigger parties that are like more centered. One is more, conservative, and the other one is more social. By now, to me, they're pretty much the same, but let's not get into that too far right now. Those are the 2 big parties that always fight for the majority, but they're never big enough to completely, eliminate the chances of the smaller parties. We have quite a variety of parties here, and they actually do have a chance to, to get up. It might take them a while, but normally, you have a certain fluctuation, and people feel like, well, no, that's not true. We have a lot of frustrated people here as well that just don't vote, or, but to me, it feels like we have more of a choice. To be honest, if I lived in America and if I were to vote, I really wouldn't be, what for? I would go, but I don't think I would feel like I really had a choice. Another thing about the politics issue is that the propaganda you see in America really just makes me sick. It's not about telling people what you want to do, what you want to change, what you want to do for the people, what you think, blah blah blah, really presenting points Of course they do that somehow, but it's always mainly about the other guy's dick. Vote for me. And I feel like if people started doing that here, they would be sure to lose. Because if we like one thing here, it's rationality. That can be very icky and it can be very annoying at times because it always feels like everything's very regulated. We have a lot of rules here, we have a lot of regulations, and people like to well, you know, stay with those and, you know, stay within the rules and make sure they're following the rules. You know, nothing can happen to you if you follow the rules, right? You know, politics and getting informed about politics and propaganda, the unwritten rules of that are that, you know, you have a certain content that you present and that people want to know about. And even, you know, even if they're bullshitting us, even if they never do what they announce, at least they're telling us that they're going to do this and going to do that. It doesn't feel like a pissing contest, and I feel like that is what American politics often turn into very quickly. I feel like if one side or one party or whatever starts with this kind of crap, and people go for it, at least to a certain extent, that quickly becomes the norm, and that just, I don't like that. I find that very yucky and dangerous to a certain extent. I just noticed from rewatching this that this all sounds very opinionated, and of course it is. You know, I have my opinions, but this wasn't supposed to turn into some kind of political thing. This is just the way I see it. Probably also because compared to America, Germany has very, well, liberal-ish politics. I always say that our most conservative party is actually a bit more liberal than your Democrats. So yeah, I mean, well, let's move on. I've noticed from watching a bit of TV when I was over there for a few weeks, it's just, I can't stand it. I feel like private stations, which are the majority, really, they exhaust me. Partly because there's commercials every 5 minutes for 10 minutes, or at least that's what it feels like. And secondly, because the news is, it feels to me like it's really hard to find news that I want to see and that I can call news. You know, it's always like, a child died in a fire, and this guy murdered this woman, and, you know, it's always drama, drama, drama. You don't get informed about what's going on in the world, you're informed about, you know, what's supposed to scare you. I don't even want to go so far to call that a strategy or something, you know, I'm not spreading any conspiracy theories here, but I feel like news shouldn't be an action movie. Did you hear what happened this morning in this neighborhood and blah, blah, blah. Something extremely horrible happened. It's too unrelaxed, it's not... once again with the rationality thing, I don't feel like that's, scientific is the wrong word. It's too emotional, I feel, for being news. There's too much drama in it. And another thing about TV, of course, is your censoring thing. You know, the bleeping of words. There's not that much swearing on TV here. Or I guess maybe I'm just watching the wrong programs, I don't know. Point I'm trying to make here is we don't bleep swearing. Might be good, might be bad, I don't know. Next thing, of course, is the whole national pride thing, where in America you feel like you're going to drive by a normal suburban street and